This is Charting Cryptos and Commodities for the 15th of March. Let's jump into these charts. We are halfway through this week. And what do we see happening with Bitcoin? Looking at the 24-hour-a-day Bitcoin chart as we look at what has happened. Nothing for us to really track. We had 2 weeks of some down movement. Started with a spinning top, had a big drop, and then it went in the complete opposite direction, as we can see with this week's move, where it tried to push through the 30 EMA and then rotated right back around with a huge upsurge. Would have killed you if you had been in this. You can see this happened literally it's on this 2-day candle here. We can go back to where the start of that was. That was on that real change started. Let me get all this junk out of the way here. Okay, here we go. Started on Sunday, 12:15, and then as we see things move through this 24-hour clock, you can watch it happen in real time as it just flipped the script on you. Now, what does this mean for us as far as us trying to accurately track something? It doesn't bode well. We'll go ahead and move these trend lines around and again, put this on the chart. But my friends, to be able to track something and have any modicum of hoping it will go your way and not be gambling, you have to have something that's going to move in a way that is trackable. And maybe you can see something that I don't see here, but it is very hard. The trackability might be a little more existent here on the 2-day, but again, it's so hard to see anything. What are we waiting for Bitcoin to do? Of course, we're waiting for it to get back to its old ways, where it was up and it was down and it rolled, and we could track it much better than we can now. It is not helping us in being able to do that here. It is exceedingly difficult. We look at where we are with Ethereum. Same kind of pop around, same kind of change. I can just make this bigger and it looks very similar to it also. Again, see how Ethereum is tracking right along with Bitcoin. Very similar looking in many aspects to the chart. Again, we've got to have these things roll along better than they are doing. Again, when you see these huge drops in here and then the ability to try to jump in at some point where you could catch anything. Now, we do see where it starts to take off. That is a little bit better here, but again, very difficult. And this rotation around and then popped right back over again with that high volume, again, very difficult for us. So, till something gets better, I'm not going to be doing any of my previous trades on Bitcoin and would encourage you. I never discourage you from practice trading, and if you can develop some methodology that works, I am all for it. Please tell me. Okay, let's go on to, I'd love to look at where things are with this Bitwise 10 crypto index fund. What is that? I explain it every week. It's the top 10 cryptocurrencies weighted average per market share. Excuse me. What we see here is where things were up for 4 weeks, and then look at what we see going on for the last several weeks, just sliding sideways on us. Same thing on that 2-day chart. Now, you can see the half-day chart rolling around. That's not too bad. Not too bad. Again, when you see these long wicks on top, makes entry points very difficult. And that, of course, is a 195-minute chart starting at 9:30 a.m. on Monday. You better make a right call there. Otherwise, you're just going to get dragged sideways and then crushed. So again, don't discourage you from trying to find a pattern and something to practice trade. I'd just be darned if I'm going to miss out on tons of stocks and ETFs that have charts that are easy to follow. And again, I can take my nugget out and make it work. I am not about to waste my time gambling over here on some cryptocurrencies. Just not going to do it. Now, let's move over to commodities. What do we see going on here? Well, I have left up for you what have I done? Here we go. Let me stretch this out so we can see it better. You can see where things started to try to move around. I started tracking on the 2-day chart last week when we had this green up candle that was forming. Remember I told you that when a change starts and we start seeing it reflected on just the weekly chart with nothing to connect it to, I'll go back and track it first on the 2-day chart. And then once we get a second candle, and if it's an up move, a second green candle and green volume, then I can of course transfer the initial moves over to the weekly chart. Well, that did not happen with the gas fund, did it? It popped up strong and then of course died on the vine as the week beginning the 6th of March started. And then of course another red spinning top. We're only, now 3 days into this. We'll see how that volume compares. But what it really did is just rolled over and died. I've already switched this. I've marked it as red on my symbol chart because it has rolled back over and gone down. And I will simply transfer things back there. Not exciting to see that. Hoping that gas, again, maybe for commodities trading, you wanted gas to take off. I don't want to pay more for gas. What do we see with oil? We see that even more profound in the drop on oil, where it swiveled over after 2 green spinning tops and has been heading down now for 2, 4, 6 days. And this latest, it was down 4.53% just in the day. You can see it here down in the morning, a little bit further down in the afternoon on Wednesday. Where are we when it comes to the gas fund? I left these up from last week so you could see it too has rotated over going down for 6 days. So we see the top 3 dips that we have for the day are the gas fund, oil, and the gas fund. Let's see. That first was natural gas. I'm sorry about that. The natural gas fund. I knew it was all of our fuel ETFs. And the last was gasoline. So, I don't want to pay more for natural gas or gasoline. And they are all heading down. Again, what does that tell us about potentiality for the economies in the world? Might not be so good. And look at copper. It is the 4th in the down moves. Copper been sliding sideways. And for the last many weeks, you can just see how it has been doji after doji after doji. And then, of course, heading down in earnest this week, right above that 30-period exponential moving average line. Look at this drop on the down candle in the afternoon. Again, copper's used what? In a lot of industry. And to see it hammering down, not a good sign. What do we see with coffee? I'm glad to see coffee going down. We can see where its most recent peak was back in the week beginning the 21st of February. We're now going into the 3rd week of down moves in coffee. Soybeans, again, feedstocks. Humans eat soybeans too, a lot of animals. We see it going down, again, sitting on that 30 EMA. We look at sugarcane continuing to, we have green up candles on sugarcane, but as far as reaching last week's high, we don't see that yet. We can also see the volume's gone to negative on here because we're measuring our volume based on the prior close. So we can see that we haven't hit the high that we saw this last weekend. Several days of down movement, plus 2 days of down movement sitting right on that weekly trend line. I don't know why I almost said 200 EMA, I guess because I've been saying that a lot lately. What about corn? Woo! Corn slid along sideways for many weeks on that 30 EMA and just rolling over, heading down. Silver, different with the metals, isn't it? Silver up for the day, and we, of course, have a green up candle. We can see these last 4 days nice and up on silver. Again, silver up for the day, little over 0.5%. Now, before we get to gold, we also see wheat, another food stock, down below the 30 EMA. And again, we see on this latest 2-day candle up a little bit, but still well below the trend line. We can see on the half day, it is up and touched the trend line, but again, 4th week of down movement. Now, lastly, we will look at gold. Up for the day, another 0.75%. Nice green up candle. We saw the weekend with gold moving up right here. It's Thursday, and then Friday a booming, and then just Monday. Tuesday was flat, and then up on Wednesday, pulled back a little bit later in the day, but again, still up 0.78% with snapping up volume right there. Good to see as gold is taking off. Now the question, is gold going to get to this 181 something mark and just top out again like we saw it do 2 weeks in a row? We actually saw, the market makers trying to find a higher high as they were selling out their inventories to drive gold down again. Are they going to do the same when it gets up to that 181.40 something mark and push it back again? Don't know. We'll wait, watch, and see. If it breaks out, that'll be nice. And we'll look to see gold keep on moving. Thank you so much for being with us, folks. We appreciate you. Hope you appreciate what we do. If you do, and you're not already a Patreon supporter, think about becoming one. First thing you'll get when you become a Patreon supporter, any of the 3 levels, is our Options Made Simple, the Charting Wealth Way. You'll get that right in your old mailbox. 3-part series. Got nothing but brags on that one. Hope you enjoy it. God bless. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.